Never forget. The biggest problem that I see most with lifters make is that they forget way too quickly, right? I was in a gym here in Florida. I'm not gonna say the name, and I saw one athlete. He just kept on missing snatches at the same weight and at the same weight, and his training partner was doing 5, 10, 15 kilos more than him, right? And he was like not making fun of him, but he was just kind of like, look, I'm beating you today, right? And I was looking at the guy who just kept on missing, and I saw in him like, I was like, is this guy like not hungry? Like, does he not care? You get what I'm saying? Like, if someone makes fun of me, like if my training partner makes fun of me because I'm missing, bro, I'm gonna be so pissed off. I'm gonna power that weight, right? Because I'm just so competitive. And then like they just moved on, and by the end of the training session, the guy who just kept on missing had like the very shitty training session, was just laughing his ass off with like two girls, and then he was laughing with his training partner, and like he was just having fun. And first of all, I said something very controversial the other time on Instagram. It got me pretty viral. It's that as a man, fun isn't the ultimate goal, right? It's nice to have fun sometimes when you're winning and when you're with your family and with your friends. But there's a place and time to have fun, and there's a place and time to suffer and never forget. Never forget those times where your training partner made fun of you or one family member made fun of you, especially when you just keep on missing weights. And today in my training session, I only had snatches until 110 kilos, okay? Because I was feeling very, very bad, and I had just slept for like 4 hours. I had brain fog. I had to drive like for an hour and a half stuck in traffic before going to training. I really did not want to train. And I went to the front squats and my knee was hurting, but I just kept pushing, finished the front squats, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do 110 today. And then my coach said this. She said, you want to snatch 180 and you're training with 110? Like, you're never gonna snatch 180 with the way you're training right now. And I was like, bro, that loss that I had in 2023 at the World Championship, where I truly wanted to become world champion, and I was one of the favorites to become world champion, and I finished 5th, came back to my mind. And I was like, do I want this to happen next year? Fuck no. Went 120, 4 reps. 130, 140, 4 reps. 150, 2 reps. Right? Even though it's only been a week and a half I'm training. Right? Or even just a week. Before the competition I had 3 weeks of preparation. No, 2 weeks of preparation. Then did the competition, stopped for a week. And now this is my first week back. So it's only been 1 week I'm training. 150 for 2. 10 kilos away from my PR. Right? And after the training, I had this realization of like the difference in between a normal athlete and a very, very good athlete. And it's just that. I get pissed off when things aren't going well. I get pissed off when I haven't slept. I get pissed off when someone makes fun of me. And I don't get pissed off at them, I get pissed off at myself because I'm having a bad training session, right? When someone calls me, arrogant because I say that one day I'm going to be world champion, is because I'm far from being world champion. And that's why they call me arrogant. So I don't get pissed off at him. I don't care about the hater. But I get pissed off at the comment, right? I get pissed off at myself, right? I get so much hate on a daily basis on Instagram. And I truly do not remember a single hater. A hater can come to a competition and tell me, hey bro, how is it going? And I'm going to say, hey bro, how is it going? Because I don't even know he's a hater, right? And he could have written like 15 bad comments about me. I don't even know, right? If they talk about my family, just block them. I don't care, right? And it's like, especially as a Christian, like when I say never forget, they're like, no, but as a Christian, you're called to forgive. And it's like, I don't care. And you shouldn't care about who criticizes you, right? You should care You should get pissed off at the fact that they said that, because no one says something without a reason behind it. No one tells you you suck when you're the best, right? They might call you a cheater, but no one's gonna tell you you suck when you're the best. If someone tells you you suck, it's because you suck. You get what I'm saying? They might be mean, but they're saying something true. There's a little bit of truth in every single hate comment. And that is exactly what I'm talking about. That's where you need to be pissed off. That's when you don't forget, right? You never ever forget. Because you will never get to the top if you don't remember those little moments. You will never get to the top. And when I say get to the top, it's not being Olympic champion or world champion. Getting to the top is being 35 years old and snatching 100 kilos for the first time. That's the top for you because you have a business or a 9 to 5. Getting to the top is coming from a poor family and 10 years later retiring your mom. That's the top, right? That's the real top. I truly do not care if Elon Musk makes another $1 billion. He's already a billionaire. That's not impressive. But if someone comes from absolute poverty and he gets to $10,000 per month and he retires his mother, he might just have made $10,000, right? Which is nothing compared to a billion. But that shit's impressive to me. That's inspiring to me because he didn't forget. He didn't forget where he came from, right? He didn't forget how he was poor and his mom was struggling. That's what's inspiring. It's not the actual accomplishment itself, is where you come from and the transformation. The transformation. Something that I really get a lot on calls with my clients, they're like, what's so relatable about you is that you went through everything that I'm going through right now, which is my first 100 kilo snatch. You did it at 14 years old. You missed 90 kilo clean and jerk at 12 years old, right? You went through a journey before us, but you still went through the journey. And now it's just so amazing to see you snatching 150, 160 kilos, right? I went through that shit. And do you think you get from to the level that I'm at just by, enjoying the process and just laughing when my training partner makes fun of me, right? And laughing after training when I had a very shitty training session? That's not how you get to the top, brother. That's really not how you get to the top. That's not how it is. And once again, the top is not Olympic Games or World Championships. The top is the fullest version of yourself. The best version of yourself, that's your top. And that's all that matters. I talk about becoming Olympic champion is because I know my top, I can get there. I have the potential to get there. All right? But someone who started with lifting at the age of 30 years old, he cannot get there. But he can get to a 100 kilo snatch. There's no man alive that is over the body weight of 75 kilos then cannot snatch 100 kilos. If he actually uses the pain of his life. Someone rejected you at your job. Use it as fuel. You failed the business. Use it as fuel. That's free energy that you can use, right? Never forget. Always forgive. Always forgive, but never forget. That's how you get to your top. That's how you get to your fullest potential, right? I have a list of people who made fun of me, including my ex-girlfriend. And I truly don't hold any bad emotions towards my ex-girlfriend or people who made fun of me. But it's just little reminders of their comments. So when I'm tired and I lack motivation, I play that shit in my mind. I remember all of those things. And most people, instead of never forgetting the people that made fun of them or the times they failed, they never forget their excuses. They never forget their excuses. It's like, oh, yeah, but I'm 35 years old, that's why I don't snatch 100 kilos. Right? Oh, I'm 40 years old, that's why I'm tight everywhere. Well, do you do your mobility in the morning? Well, no, I don't have time. Everyone has time. Everyone has time for 10 minutes of mobility. I don't care how busy you are. I've trained twice a day while having an in-person job, while running a business and preparing international competitions, and I still did the mobility in the morning. It's 10 minutes. 10 minutes. What's your screen time? An hour? And you're telling me you're scrolling for an hour on Instagram and you don't have 10 minutes to do your mobility? BS. I did a post the other day and I said, you cannot be a coach if you don't snatch at least 130 kilos. At least 130 kilos. And I got the whole industry, the whole sport, right? Every single mediocre coach out there DMing me, hate comments. I had over 225 comments on a single sentence on Instagram. It was a sentence, guys. Cannot be a coach if you snatch less than 130 kilos. And there's so much mediocrity in this sport and just general in life, guys. Also in business, I see it all the time. But like in this sport, there's so much mediocrity in this sport that 250 comments, guys, people that were 40 years old, twice my age, commenting paragraphs like this, just putting a bunch of hate, right? And the reason why I put it this is to truly piss off everyone who is a mediocre. Because if you want to teach others how to lift heavy weights, you need to lift heavy weights. And 130 kilos for the average male in the United States who weighs 90 kilos body weight, 130 is nothing. 130 is nothing. Now, obviously, if you weigh 55, 60, 65, you can snatch a little bit less and be a coach. But you cannot teach others something you've never done yourself. Right? You cannot teach others something you've never done yourself. That's how it is. I cannot teach someone how to scale their business to $10 million because I've never scaled a business to $10 million. It's as simple as it is. It's as simple as it sounds. Right? There's so much mediocrity everywhere that people never forget their excuses instead of never forgetting their purpose. And the times where that little comment from your girlfriend or that little comment from your mom, it pisses you off, but you just forget. And that's why you don't progress as much as you should. That's why you're stuck, right? Never forget. Never forget.